All right, well, real quick, I just got finished doing my Michael Jackson reading, and I said I wanted to see Janet's perspective of Sony acquiring Michael's catalog. So I'm going to smudge, even though I don't want to chase Michael off too much since I'm dealing with his sister, but I don't know how their relationship is now. So I'm just going to hop into it. Thank you guys for being here beyond the veil. I literally pressed end on my Michael video, took a few breaths, pressed start, which is why I didn't even think to greet you guys. Welcome, I'm Adina. You guys are beyond the veil. The energy is still flowing for me, so I can't spend too much time babbling to you. Check out my Michael Jackson reading that I just did. If you want to catch up before you watch this one, here we go. All right. Janet Jackson. Janet Jackson, come. Janet Jackson, come. Janet Jackson, come. Janet Jackson, your brother is here. I have not dismissed Michael. Come. Janet Jackson. Janet Jackson. Janet Jackson. Why do I feel like I need to speak directly? Excuse me, you guys. Janet Jackson. Janet Jackson. Janet Jackson. Janet is here, and she's aware that her brother Michael's energy is here. These three cards, it's been so long since we've last spoken, and I don't know if they had harsh words or if their communications around the time that he passed were healthy. Janet, I get the impression that there was friction between Janet and Michael concerning his affairs with Sony. Janet was afraid. She didn't want him to do all of that because they all knew that eventually they would try to take Michael out. Janet didn't want to ruffle the industry's feathers. They already tapped her around that Super Bowl event and showed her that they could destroy her like they destroyed her brother. She didn't want no smoke, and she didn't see why Michael was putting them all in danger. Because that's how she felt. He was putting them all in danger. All right, Janet Jackson, talk to me about how you feel about Sony acquiring Michael Jackson's catalog, which you know that your brother died trying to fight. You know he died trying to fight Sony from owning him. He lost his life trying to keep Sony from owning him that way. Janet, how do you feel now that after his death, over his dead body, they did get ownership of him? How do you feel about that, Janet? How do you feel about Sony acquiring Michael Jackson's catalog? Let us know. Let me know. Oh, this is going to be an interesting one. I hear, here we go again. Because Janet's baby daddy, I believe, got her away from those in the industry who had their eyes on her next. He got her out of those waters. He protected her. Here we go again, Janet. You're going back to those same murky waters that running to that Arabic man got you out of. That big business with Sony. You were trying to get out of it without having to actively engage because you were scared. Challenging. Do you think that Beyonce and Jay-Z are in? Now, this has nothing to do with Beyonce and Jay-Z. I'm thinking about the reading I did on her last time, because this is an effort for the industry to. I got this in Michael Jackson's reading in his crowning position. The entire purpose for doing that reading and this reading is because of the label's attempts to get their hands in ownership on the Jackson catalog, the Jackson name, fame, brand, all of it. Coincidentally, Janet, you do not have a brand outside of your brother. So if they want Michael's catalog, conversations around Janet exist as well. You're the only sibling that's still left actively in the industry with a legacy intact. I said in my Beyonce reading, I saw some kind of energy harvesting of Michael Jackson. And now we have news that just came out about Michael Jackson's catalog being owned by Sony. What if they start doing business with Beyonce and Jay-Z, or allowing Beyonce and Jay-Z to recreate certain songs, or clearing samples for Beyonce to do songs with Michael posthumously, so that she can harness his fame energy. Now that's just me running down my own mind's rabbit hole. But the challenge is for Janet in regards to this subject matter. She's collateral. Janet did not want no smoke with industry gatekeepers, industry executives. Again, she saw what they did to her after the Super Bowl fiasco and how easy it was to tarnish her legacy. She knows what they can do. They couldn't do that to Michael, though, because Michael was stronger than her. Janet needs strong people around her. Her baby daddy, him and his money and his protection. But here we go again, Janet. Now you're revisiting this conversation about legacy and those who would like to take it. In the past, Michael died and Janet got out of Dodge. She got out of the way. Methinks everybody, all the Jacksons saw this coming because of what Michael was doing. He was trying to fight them. I hear he was trying to fight them. And they all know that that's something that you don't do and get away with easily. You don't fight the mob when you're not a made man by yourself, or even not by yourself, and think that you won't have attempts on your life. They are connected in every industry because of the amount of money that comes out of entertainment. So Janet, they all knew that this was coming, and when it did, most of them fell into formation so that the same things didn't befall upon them. They were shook, they were scared, and they were willing to keep quiet in order to stay in line. The only one who wasn't was LaToya. And methinks they didn't like her speaking out either. She seemed like she was the outcast too, because she, like Michael, were vocal. And the rest of them were like, "Can you just be quiet? They're going to hear you saying those things." Mm-mm. Janet was trying to avoid she dodged a bullet. She got out of Dodge. She said, y'all ain't got to worry about me, honey. Y'all ain't got to worry about me. I'm going to shut up. Oh, Janet, all these swords. Here's Janet afraid again, because now she don't have Hassan. I think that's his name. She don't have Hassan anymore. And now that Sony has acquired Michael's catalog, she feels like all kinds of things from the past that she ran away from are coming back to haunt her. There is fear here for Janet Jackson. Fear. Crowning her is how they destroyed her brother, the king of pop, the king of music. She always remembers what they did to Michael. Janet, listen, she ain't got to get a full whooping. You just got to look at her or tap her on the butt once. As the baby of the bunch, she's seen what all her older siblings had to go through. So she learned, like most baby siblings, they learn by watching their older siblings and what they go through, what to do and what not to do. That is where Janet learned to keep cute and mute. She saw what they did to Michael's legacy. She saw what they did to hers. And then she saw what they ultimately did to him when they were ready. When he did not toe the line anymore. When he bucked too hard, she saw. So Janet knows not to buck. Because she knew that Michael's death was on purpose. And Janet, to this day, don't want no smoke. Now, LaToya might want some smoke. In my other reading, I thought it was going to be Janet that had something to say about her brother and them acquiring his masters. It could be LaToya. It could be the mama. One of them Jackson women. And now that I see this, I kind of think it's not Janet. Still could be. I could be wrong. One of them Jackson women is not going to be okay with Sony trying to use Michael's music. And she may publicly speak out. Possibly. Janet, though, it looks here like she's trying to avoid a battle. External energy. The Magician. This was all over Michael's reading. This is Sony acquiring everything of Michael's. Everything that he created and everything that he was trying to monopolize for himself. This is them getting it. External energy on Janet's reading on how she feels about them acquiring Michael's masters. For me, for some reason, it feels like she always knew they were going to get it. Especially, Janet knew by hook or crook they were going to get it. She knew, which is why she was like, Michael, why do you want to do this? She knows. Work with them, because if you don't, they'll just take you out and still get it. So you might as well live and get a little cut instead of die and have them still take it all. That's Janet's philosophy. In her external energy, they got it, and I feel like she always knew. There's no surprise here. Because she knew that that's what Michael was killed for. And once he's out of the way, there's nothing to stop them but court dates and legalities, paperwork behind getting what they wanted to acquire in the first place. Hopes and fears. Janet hopes that she fears that she too will be one of the ones taken by the Hollywood machine. Janet is afraid for her life. Now, even though when it came to Beyonce and Jay-Z trying to be the ones to topple her, Janet won't be moved. She's up for the fight against Jay-Z and Beyonce, but at this moment, what if it's not just Jay-Z and Beyonce? What if they're in on this so that they can benefit from the Jackson legacy being owned by people that they do business with. Again, never mind. I'm going to just leave that be. Beyonce girl, now I got to read you too. Janet, looks like you're going to speak out. Looks like you're going to address it. Maybe it is you. I see up until now, you ain't want no smoke. I see that you do believe. Your hopes and fears. Your fears is that you will be one of the ones. Now, whether you'll speak out in support or not, Janet will have something to say. And I'm going to start there. Knight of Swords. King of Pentacles, them killing Michael for his catalog. Michael, again, these are both Virgo cards in this context. The Hermit is a Virgo. King of Pentacles is an earth sign, male. And then here's the Queen of Pentacles. The sibling card, injustice, fame, plans, family, being divided, not united. I don't know if Janet herself is going to say this or if one of the kids is going to say this and Janet is going to support it. Auntie Janet. Whichever one of them calls her Auntie Janet. This could be, I don't know. Auntie Janet, can I say this? Maybe one of the boys, maybe one of the Jackson boys, maybe the one that's going to be in that movie. Awards. Were any of them at the awards ceremony? Who is this Knight of Swords speaking out? I think this is Janet. All right. You guys, give me a second. I have a call coming in that I have to take. One moment. Okay. I do think this will be Janet. And whether she speaks out against them or whether she speaks diplomatically, she will speak, most likely. Her or LaToya. But since I'm reading Janet, the outcome will be Janet Jackson speaking about her brother. Whether she specifically calls out Sony or not, she will speak about her brother. All right, Six of Swords in Janet's current position. Janet knew that her brother would not allow, this is the card that I got in Michael's, in my previous reading, in his current position. Janet knew that at the time of his death and the time surrounding his death, Michael was refusing to play ball with Sony and let them take full ownership of his catalog. And this is when the beef started. Once Michael started trying to make power moves and wouldn't allow Sony to pimp him out anymore, when he said, no more, I am Michael Jackson and I will run myself and my own catalog, that's when Janet noticed that Michael started to become ill. Coughs here and there, aches and pains here and there, sleeping more. She'll call him, hey bro, why you still in the bed? She knows. And this is what she ran away from to get with that man. Janet might have been approached to do something, but she didn't want to be involved. And I don't think that this is about Michael's, like she was approached to be a part of his death, but before he died, somebody was advised of something, of what they were planning to do. Something about Catherine here. Taking Catherine away so that they can have control over the money, over Michael's estate after the death. And I remember that there was a situation that came out where some of the Jackson family thought that something was being done to Catherine and that she was being held against her will. It was an unsuccessful attempt to infiltrate the family. It was somebody's unsuccessful attempt to get their hands on the money. I get one of the brothers, again, the one that was married to the Gordy. I get his energy strong up in that mother energy, in that Catherine energy. It's like somebody, and maybe Janet found out that one of the brothers had a relationship with somebody from Sony that they shouldn't have had. And access to the mother was being restricted. I don't know if it was by Janet or if she was the one who wasn't letting the other siblings talk to the mother. There was a fear that Catherine was being drugged as well. And I see betrayal in the family amongst the siblings. Somebody felt like the heartbreaking part was that you didn't say anything because you were too afraid when you knew that they were planning to take Michael out. I get, now this could be a conversation that Janet is having with another sibling, or this could be a conversation that Latoya is having with Janet. It's like, we are family. We're supposed to love each other. But you were so jealous with Michael's fame that you were plotting against him too, or you knew. Something about, like, that's why you didn't want to go on the trip, or that's why you didn't want to go somewhere, because you were afraid, because you knew what you were sneaking around doing. You didn't want to be around Michael. You didn't want to be around the family because you were afraid, because it's like paranoid, because you know what you're doing wrong. Yeah, that sounds like a personal family conversation that's going on. I don't know if they are having this to this day, this conversation now, but I believe so, that these conversations are taking place because Sony just acquired Michael's catalog. So those conversations that they were having back then, that they've moved past from, these old wounds are being rehashed. Challenging Janet, the Six of Pentacles in reverse. I think this is her moving away. Didn't she move to Dubai, where she married that man and had the baby, to keep them from being able to do the same thing to her? She needed his protection. She needed that man's protection. Having his baby, even more protection, the way she see it. Because ain't nobody else going to be able to kill her unless it's them. I'll kill my wife if I want to. Not any of those American Westerners. He might have been abusive, but he wasn't going to let the industry be the one to abuse and misuse and take Janet out. It was the only way she can avoid what she felt like was coming to her next. Because once Michael died, they did look at Janet. They looked at the whole family, like one by one. Like when Whitney was taken out, her money went to Bobby Christina, so Bobby Christina was taken out, and then eventually the people that wanted the money got it. Same. All Michael's money went to his mother. Then she fell sick, and then they start doing weird things with her, the kids within the family, because they was trying to get their hands on the money. Whoever was in bed with the big executives who put these hits out on these people. It's always someone in your own circle who's going to betray you. Always someone who is jealous and envious of you amongst your friends and family. Always a Judas when there's a Messiah in the midst. The Tower in reverse in Janet's past position. I think this is her trying to avoid, again, her moving all the way to another country was for protection. Janet still wanted to do music business, but she didn't. She was now aware of the threats, the plots around her, what they were capable of doing since they did it to the Michael Jackson. She still wanted to be Janet Jackson. She still wanted to work eventually on her own terms. And that's what she does now. And this man that she moved across the country to marry, he afforded her that. Near future, Nine of Swords in reverse. Secrets. Hidden plots. Janet is afraid that there are some hidden plots. Continued hidden plots for the Jackson legacy. Not just Michael. Janet's afraid that they are plotting her death. This could be why she or someone in the Jackson clan that got the okay from Auntie Janet is going to speak out. In this new era of exposés, it's different from back in the day when speaking out got you killed. Speaking out now saves people. And Janet is afraid that there is a plot for her too. All the Jacksons that are big name Jacksons need to be out of the way. And I think that she kind of distanced herself against Michael. Maybe they had arguments prior to his death. Again, I don't think that they were communicating that much. And I think it's because Janet did not want to be involved in whatever calamity was coming upon Michael. She knew it was coming. And she had begun to, they weren't communicating very well. They weren't a harmonious family unit around the time of Michael's death. Again, I feel like Janet felt like, why are you doing this? Why are you putting us all in danger? Because you know they will come for us. Nobody has ever successfully been able to take the industry down and get away with it. And Janet feels like, I don't want any parts of your beef with these people. I don't want to be affected. And Michael thought, well, you saw the way they did you with the Super Bowl. You already were affected. You might as well fight. This isn't right, Janet. And being silent and complicit isn't going to get you anything. And Janet was like, well, it gets me enough. Seven of Wands in reverse. Me thinks that, now I don't know if Janet previously was planning to try to stick it out in the industry. I said she don't want no smoke with the industry, but now I'm thinking that, I think that Janet is now folding on her laurels. Where she was going to continue playing nice and cute with the industry, I think she's saying all bets are off. Something about what she saw during Grammy weekend made her change her mind. Again, I think it had something to do with Beyonce. Beyonce and Jay-Z have something up their sleeve that involves the Jacksons. One more time, I smell with all of my senses. Smell, see, hear, taste. I see Beyonce doing energy harvesting rituals to harvest and harness the energy of Michael Jackson. She wants to take his energy and make it hers, his legacy and make it hers. She wants to be this generation's Michael, period. Even from the lightening of her skin to mimic everything that Michael did so that she can take on the fame, the power energy that he had. Something about Grammy weekend, Janet saw, and she was like, oh, no, 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 no. What is this? Somebody that Janet used to feel like somebody supported their family as Jacksons. Now she's fully aware this person has either verbalized to her or otherwise that they are not for the Jacksons. In fact, this gives me Beyonce and Jay-Z because this is a shrewd husband and wife. In fact, I want my Beyonce, I want my wife to harness that life force. It's the only thing she's missing. It's the only thing she's missing. Something about Jay-Z and Beyonce Grammy weekend, it put Janet on notice. Even those comments about Janet, by Tina Knowles about Janet not charging Beyonce prices. She knows that if it wasn't meant to come out in the public, it wouldn't have become public. Because she knows a lot of things that are said are kept. She knows that the Carter clan, anything that is put out about them, maybe except for that elevator incident, is kept under lock and key. So if it came out, it was supposed to. And that put Janet on notice too with them. This is nasty, nasty work. Where am I going now? Challenging. I feel like she feels like someone or something came in between her relationship with Michael and the family's relationship. Michael, he was isolated from them. But that situation with him trying to battle it out with Sony also isolated them, and it caused a rift in the family because Michael was on gas, and she didn't feel like he should do it because she felt like she knew what was going to be the outcome. All right, let me close this up. I don't know really where to go. I've touched on everything. External energy, the Magician. Janet, for a long time, has not spoken out of fear about the things that she knows, especially about Sony and her brother. Methinks that they banked on Janet's fear. Was Janet the one that took care of Mama Catherine? Because behind that fear, there's taking care of Mama Catherine. Mama Catherine was heartbroken and disappointed that they did that to her son. She knew too that it was a sacrifice, that it was in a tip from the industry. But she also, I see a brother. I see Mama Catherine again being taken away and kept away from certain family members because she had Michael's money. And whoever had Miss Catherine during that time, they had a relationship with someone in the industry. Methinks that the person in the industry was the one who told the family member how to handle Miss Catherine in order to facilitate the circumstances of her death. They were trying to facilitate the circumstances around Mama Catherine's death, so once again, Michael's money would exchange hands. There was definitely a sibling in on it. One of the brothers. All right. I already went through all the cards pretty much, so I'm going to wrap this up. That's how Janet feels about Michael's death. Again, let me go one more card for the Knight of Swords. The family is about to speak out, whether it's Janet, whether it's someone else that Janet allows to speak as a family spokesperson. But they're going to say something. Well, that's what I have. One of the Jacksons will be communicating about the Jacksons, whether they speak out about Sony acquiring Michael's masters in publishing or not. They will speak out. I don't sense that Janet is okay with this. I actually get an energy of fear around her. And again, I pick up the energy of Jay-Z and Beyonce. So that's what I'm going to say about that. And I'm going to take a little break probably. And then I will maybe come back later and read Beyonce. Love you. Bye.